Good morning, everyone, or whenever you're listening to this episode. Welcome to episode 3 of the Banquet Hall podcast. I am blessed and lucky to be joined by Jada, the founder of Green Line Planner. Jada, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fabulous. Thank you. How are you?
Fabulous as well. We're going to keep that fabulous energy going. Um, what's the weather like out there? I know you're in Virginia now, so what's the weather like right now?
It's a little bipolar, I will say. I shouldn't use that word, but it's just a little all over the place, honestly. One day it's 70 degrees to 80 degrees, or then today is 60 degrees. So, it kind of just bounces back and forth. But today's a cold day, so I'm staying inside.
It's cold in San Diego too. Woke up to go to the gym this morning, and my car said it was like 46 degrees, and it's not okay.
Yeah. See, my ankles were hurting this morning when I went to work. So the wind is definitely biting out here, but it's okay.
Yeah, well, we're going to get into your move to Virginia in a bit, but first, I kind of mentioned this on the first episode of the Banquet Hall, but one of the things that I really wanted to focus on this episode were people from the greatest city on earth, and you fit that category being from the one, the only Los Angeles, California. So, talk to us a little bit about like some of your upbringing and what does it mean to grow up in like the city of Los Angeles.
Honestly, it was great, and moving to Virginia, which I know we're gonna get into, but moving to a whole nother state, it really showed me the difference, and I really appreciated where I came from a lot more because I did have a lot of opportunities, and I could see how I could make it from, living in the hood to making it to like one of those big houses in Calabasas or something in
Mm.
Malibu. So I definitely could see the duality and how you can really make it from nothing. So I believe that that is just one of the greatest things that I really do love about LA. And I really grew up all over LA, between Long Beach to Culver City to the San Fernando Valley, being in Van Nuys. So I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure a lot of people know, the whole little strip, up and down, even in being in San Diego. So Southern California period is just gorgeous. And I really think the culture all around is just like A1.
Definitely A1. And you brought up something I've talked to a lot of people about. It's like when you grow up in like the less affluent parts of Los Angeles, for lack of a better term, but like I grew up near Jesse Owens Park off of like Century and Western. And it's
Mhm.
like growing up in the same city where if you could drive 30 minutes down the freeway, then you in these mansions in Bel Air, you in Beverly Hills and whatnot. I feel like there's a certain duality that brings, I don't know, I feel like it brings a hustler out of people from LA because it's like, nah, like I'm trying to be up there. Like that's
Exactly.
that's where I need to be.
Exactly. Yep, you said it right.
Yeah. So definitely shout out to all the folks from LA. And kind of falling in line, you might see a theme in this episode between the first one, two Jadas, both from the city of Los Angeles, or repping the city of LA, all went to UC San Diego. So let's talk a little bit about how you made it from Los Angeles to UCSD. Like, what made you choose UCSD? Was it always UCSD? What was that process like?
So UCSD was actually not really a thought. I just knew that I needed to apply to in-state schools just in case, and so I applied to some UCs. And UC San Diego so happened to be on the list. Now how we got there, basically every state, well, every out-of-state school that I applied to, the packages for scholarships just wasn't that good.
Never are.
Plus, I was going to college with my best friend, so we applied to all the same colleges, and we really wanted to make sure that we went to college together. So we actually applied to Spelman, to Clark. We applied to a couple other out of state schools, but my dream school was Hampton out here in Virginia, just because I simply wanted to be closer to my grandparents.
Mm.
So that was always just a dream. And when I got in, I cried, and I it was a big dramatic thing, but I chose UC San Diego because the scholarship package was good, number one.
Hmm.
And number two, I just felt like it was the perfect distance from LA. So I could always drive back home, and feel like, okay, 2 hours is not really
It's
anything, but
not
it
that
also is
bad.
a
Yeah.
push if you're not just trying to get up and go to LA. So I definitely felt like it was a really good distance, and I thought that it was kind of like, okay, you want to move, but let's take the
Mm.
baby steps.
Yeah,
Let's
like try
you
it out real
know
quick.
exactly. And so my grandmother took me to visit UC San Diego, and I loved all the sculptures, I loved all the art pieces and the installations that it had just scattered around campus, and I just thought it was really a gorgeous campus. So I was like, you know what? I think I think this is the one for me. And also shout out because on the first day when we did the tour, I want to say it was in Asia, but so like a group of black girls, they were like black people, just like started waving, and my best friend and I were like, "Yep, that's a sign. We need to come here." So I definitely loved the black community on our campus.
Yeah, that's awesome. I feel like that's when you really feel like you're ingrained in a black community at UC San Diego. Once you start seeing just black people wherever on campus, like, hey, y'all, come here, come here.
Right.
You've been to the BRC, you've been to BSU, like what's good. Like I think building community that way is always dope. So that's awesome. Not sure is Hampton somewhere in your future? Like, could you see yourself going to like a grad program at Hampton or anything like that?
Possibly, yes. Now that I am out here, I actually would like to look into that. So and I have. So that is definitely kind of in the works.
Okay. We got a little future Hampton experience in your cards. Let's talk a little bit more about your undergrad experience though. So what did you major in? What were some things you're involved with? Like let's talk a little bit more about that.
So I went in thinking I was going to be pre-med. That quickly changed after my first chemistry class. I said, this is not for me. So then I bounced around a couple times. I tried to become an engineering major. I tried to, I was a real estate and development major for a
Hmm.
while. But then I landed on international business because I took an accounting class and I absolutely loved it. And I was like, okay, I want to do this as my major, but we didn't have that as a major there.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, I had to take something else. And by this time, I'm already like pushing it on changing my major. So I'm like, okay, I got to pick something I have classes in already. So international business fit a lot of the classes I already took, and it also allowed me to pair up really well with the accounting minor. So I just figured, let's go this route. I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit, and I knew that that was going to definitely be an interest of mine. And I'm so glad that I took that route because man, it is helping me out with business, and hence why I'm on the podcast today. So
Hey, that's big facts. Where do you think that you got your entrepreneurial spirit from? Like, was that something like you was just young, like I'm about to start my own lemonade stand? Like, where did that start?
I don't know, honestly. Well, I can say that my grandmother, she's always been a hustler for real.
Okay.
She's an antique dealer, so she goes around to garage sales, different auctions, and she dumpster dives sometimes and finds beautiful pieces of art, and flips it for like 5K. So I've seen her really just like provide for herself every single year after year after year, and still even till this day in her 60s. So I definitely feel like that is part of it. But I just always dreamt of no, but I want to be the owner of it though. Like I just kind of always had that mentality when I thought about things. Like even going to med track, I wanted to be an OBGYN, but I wanted to have my own practice. I wanted to open up my own something like so it was definitely in me from the jump. Yeah.
That's awesome. And obviously, like you kind of get to see some of the fruits of your labor because now you're the founder of Green Line Planner. So why don't you give us like a really quick overview of Green Line Planner before we dive too in?
Yeah, so Green Line Planner, aka get your green in line, because it's all about financial literacy, and really helping the young adults in our community just really get that financial knowledge that we weren't afforded in our childhood. Most times our parents are really scared to talk about money with us because one, they don't know how to manage it, and they rarely know what it is and how to actually make it work for them. So it's really a hard conversation that's not really brought up. So that was really the inspiration for it. But I will say that I help young professionals budget and learn how to balance their finances into where they can live an easy life without stress with finances, because that is the number one stress in America is money. And so if I can put y'all on to game early, then you will save yourself a lot of mistakes, a lot of stress, a lot of heartache and pain. I promise.
And so thinking about like the inception of Green Line Planner, was it always just focused on financial literacy or what made you want to get into like budgeting and finance specifically?
Well, it was honestly the way that I grew up and how bad it was financially, and seeing how money broke up relationships and really just caused a lot of arguments. And I knew that it was very powerful in the negative sense. And so I could see, okay, if it's powerful that way, it has to be powerful the other way too. Because I mean, coming from LA, the duality of things, obviously,
Right.
I'm like, okay, why are we struggling? But then some people just got it. Like, what is this? So I'm like, I have to be on the other side. So I basically made it a vow to myself really, really, really young. I said, look, it starts here. I need to get good grades. I need to get a good job, go to college, so I can provide for my kids and have better. But that also meant I needed to learn how to save and learn how to
Mm-hmm.
actually spend my money wisely, because at the same time, I noticed that it wasn't about how much money we had, because we weren't really ever without money coming in. It was more or less about how it was being spent, how it was
Mm-hmm.
being utilized. And so it was a lot of, yeah, mistakes, should I say, because of limiting beliefs, not knowing how to do things, and also just, like, I don't even want to get into that, but yeah, we know how parents can be sometimes. But it's all good now. That I actually decided to go full in with research and reading books. That helped a lot.
Mm.
Listening to other people on podcasts, YouTube videos. So really young, I started working at 14, and I said, you know what, I'm making money. I need to learn how to manage it. I need to learn how to get it, because I have to pay for my own prom. I have to pay for my own, moving stuff for college. So I needed to learn how to budget my money and save well, just so I could actually provide for myself. And yeah, I started young. And once I got to college, I started doing workshops with the Black
Mm-hmm.
Resource Center, because I was an intern there. And that's basically where it all started. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean those workshops are obviously effective because I mean I'm pretty sure I knew about the workshops before I knew who you were. I was like, oh, like they doing some budgeting stuff, some finance stuff. Because I would talk to Chuck and be like, oh yeah, like one of the interns, Jada, she's helping me with the finance stuff. I'm like, for real? Like, oh, y'all got good interns. Like they helping out with that.
Our
Um,
cohort was the best. Just gotta say that.
I don't know if I can give y'all that. I don't know if we could just say that on podcast. Like the
Listen,
best.
yes, and I'll say COVID cut us short, because oh my goodness, if we would have had the full year in person, that's all I have to say.
I'm not gonna say you're wrong. I'm gonna say I disagree that y'all were
Okay,
the best. I can think of
okay.
at least one cohort better.
Mm.
Might have been my cohort. I mean, me 1K, like we held down the BRC. So I don't know if I give y'all the best. And then I got a soft spot in my heart for this interns I've been working with since I've been working at the BRC. So I can't let you say that
Okay,
y'all the best.
okay. And wait, weren't y'all the cohort that was there when I first was a freshman? I want to say
Nah, I'm older than you by a little more than that. Because when did you get to UCSD?
17.
17. I was an intern 15, 16.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That actually makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I just read a
So
lot about y'all's cohort.
because we're the best, right?
Okay. Okay. No, y'all definitely paved the way for some things. So thanks.
Hey, but that's what it's all about. We all paving the way for each other because without y'all, we wouldn't have these amazing things. I mean, this is episode 3 of a podcast, and 2 of the people I've recorded were in your intern cohort. So
True.
that could
True.
say something. I mean, I think y'all all like, I think that's the beauty in being a part of community in a higher education setting because you see people's growth over time. You see people develop into who they want to be. Like, cause talking to y'all when y'all are students about what y'all want to do and what y'all are excited about and seeing where y'all are at now and just how far y'all can go. Because I mean, we're all still in our 20s, like really making the thing happen. Like that's something to be proud of.
Thank you. Yes. Aw.
Yeah, of course. I had to sidetrack that best intern cohort. You're gonna lose us some listeners maybe with talking about best interns. I might have to cut that segment out. No, I'm just kidding. But let's get into just kind of the day-to-day of Green Line Plan or kind of some of these sessions that you have when you're working with people on budgeting and finance. Like what is it that you get the most joy out of when you're working with someone? Like what's that moment that kind of makes you feel like, oh, like this is why I do this?
It's honestly like after the first session. And I'll say, because a lot of the clients, if you've been struggling with money for a while now, you're a little anxious to invest your
Mm-hmm.
money into something like that. We're not really used to investing in things other than college or cars or, those big things that we talk about on a day-to-day basis, but no one really talks about having a budget coach. So um, people are anxious, and I get that. And so then after our first conversation, our first meeting, we meet for 60 minutes a month. And outside of that time, they have access to text me and really ask me questions if they're at the register and they're trying to, make a purchase and they feel anxious. They're like, Jada, talk me out of it, or, what should I do? I can definitely help them, and I'm right there for them. But in those 60 minutes, we cover a lot of things. I ask them deep questions. I put a lot of their numbers in front of their face. And that's the main thing that like trips them up. They're
Yeah,
like,
hold
oh
that
my
mirror up.
goodness. Yeah, they're like, I have all this money left over. That's the main thing that I hear. Because yes, after all your unnecessary spending, you have so much money that you can then have control over. So watching them transform from being like helpless in the mindset type of thing, to more of like a confident spender and getting excited about their
Mm-hmm.
paychecks more because they're like, okay, I have all this money left over after I pay my bills, and I get to decide what I want to do with it. And I tell them the first place that they should look is towards their goals. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what do you see in your future? Like, what lifestyle do you want to live? Are you spending and putting money towards those things every single time that you're handing and making a transaction, handing money out? And so then they start thinking about, they're like, you know what? Are my transactions serving me? And then they just start like things just start clicking in their head. And I just absolutely love it. And then they come to me and they're like, oh yeah, like I was doing this and I heard your voice in my head. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love that.
It's working.
So it works, yes. And I always coach my clients to the point where they don't need me afterwards. Like, this is a one time
Mm,
investment. That's what I want. I don't want you to be dependent on me. I'm not trying to give you a fish. I'm trying to teach you how to fish. I want you to know how to make this a thing that you can maintain for the rest of your life, because this financial knowledge is going to help you for the rest of your life. Like, if you sit there and learn how to ride a bike today, you're always going to know how to ride a bike. You might be a little rusty if you get on after
mm-hmm.
10 years, but you always know how to ride that bike. And that's the thing. Like, with this coaching, it's laying the track for you. So no matter how far off track you can get with your finances, you know where the track is. You know where home is, and you know exactly how to get back on track because you know where it is. And
Right.
so I basically just uncover the veil. Like, a lot of the people that come to me, they've been telling themselves lies. They have different beliefs about money that are just simply not true and are holding them back from having a healthy relationship with their finances. And so once I talk to them and I'm like breaking it down, like, no, money is simply a tool that you get to use to do what you want to do with your life. Then that's when they really start taking agency over their life and like wanting to become the best them that they can be because they see how they can invest in that. And then, yeah, it's truly a beautiful process.
Yeah, it truly is. And I can tell that you're really passionate about it because even that whole time you was cooking, like you was smiling, like you just going off the
Yes.
dome, like you're really into this. And I think that it's important for people to be able to see that because I know that there's plenty of people in finance who don't give a damn about people. There's plenty of
Right.
people who just in there like asking you for $1,500 for a consultant, and then they just giving you some BS and then want you to keep paying them month after month. But I could tell that you're really passionate about the work that you do. So that's really dope.
Thank you. Yeah. They are all like my best friends after this because we get so deep. Like, I got to know everything about you.
Yeah.
So, it is like your whole life is written out in your finances and your transactions. And so basically I have to know every single thing that you do and what you have going on. And it's that trust that also like really builds that bond. Like, like, thank you for trusting me to guide you along this process. So
Wow, that's awesome. We love a good empathetic business leader.
yeah.
Um, so not to put you on the spot, but let me ask you this. There's plenty of people that I can go to get budgeting help, to get financial consultancy. Why should I go to Greenline Planner?
Because Green Line Planner, we coach over here. I say we because it's a whole slew of experts that have contributed to what I have going on. But over here we basically really drive home that it's about you. We make it centered around what you want. And it's very unique to your lifestyle, even down to the applications that you use. Maybe somebody likes spreadsheets, and maybe spreadsheets are very overwhelming to some people. So I switch up different things because I want it to be tailored to you specifically so that you can maintain it. And that is what the difference is mainly. Yes.
Awesome. See, you had it right ready to go. So awesome. Now let's transition a little bit. So I know not too long after you graduated from college, you moved well across the country to a place well away from LA, a lot different from Los Angeles. So talk to me about what that's like, kind of like your first big adult move to Virginia.
That was so stressful. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. Like, listen, I dropped down in weight because of how stressed out I was making this move. It was really scary. I'm not gonna lie. California is all I know in a sense. And I did live out here for 1 year when I was in second grade, and I fell in love with it. With the trees, with the changing of the seasons. The big houses out here are really beautiful. They're like southern
Hmm.
houses, and I just absolutely love it. And I had like the glimpse of like a real childhood, if that makes sense. I was able to, like mow the lawn and ride my bike in the street, and it was just like such an amazing thing that I would want my kids to do. So that was the main reason why I pushed myself to move out here. And also because my grandparents are here, and I, don't want to keep them from knowing me, and I want them to
Mm.
have the privilege of knowing me in my adult life and me knowing them as well in my adult life. So I wanted to move closer to them because they're not going to be here forever. So I want to experience them while they are here. And that was a big reason as well. But yes, so it cost me about $1,000 to ship all my stuff, but I will say Virginia was not my first place. I
Mm.
actually was supposed to be going to Houston, and it's on my Instagram still. I like made a post about it and I was super excited. I did a solo vacation trip to
Hmm.
Houston to go apartment hunting, and the type A personality that I am. I made a whole spreadsheet, like I made a whole itinerary timeline to hit all these apartments and like the most efficient way possible. Like I looked up directions and ordered them right. Yeah, it was.
Oh,
I did
you
my thing.
organized.
Yes, I said if I'm going on this trip, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be organized. I know what I'm going to do. Um, so I just quickly realized that because I saved up. Okay, so what I did, I'm gonna tell y'all the financial hack that I tried to do that didn't work out. So I tried to save up. Well, I did. I saved up like about $6,000 out of my financial aid refund, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna just move to another state, aka I wanted to go to Houston, well, Texas, Houston, Texas. And I was going to prepay my rent for about 6 months. For like 5 to 6 months, I was going to prepay my rent. They said no. They were like, you need to have 3 times the rent. And I was like, in income? I'm like, but I promise, like, I can do it. Like,
Like,
once I
just
get
trust
out
me.
here, yes, like, please, I'm giving you 6 months right here, right
Right.
now. You can't take that. So I was just like, okay, I obviously cannot move to Houston at the moment, and so I moved in with my grandparents out here, and it was really good. And now I'm in my place with a roommate, and I will soon be moving into my own spot, my first
Okay.
solo
Okay.
apartment in February. So that is super duper exciting. So yeah, adulting's
Wow.
going good out here.
It sounds like hell. You adulting better than I'm adulting. Wow, that's really dope. Congratulations ahead of time
Thank
on moving
you.
into your first solo apartment. What excites you most about kind of this phase of young adulthood for you?
I would say honestly, just like rolling with life. Like
Mm.
literally, I have been enjoying my life because I'm actually very content with what I have done and put into this world. Not to get all morbid or anything, but like I always tell people because this is so true. Like if I were to pass tomorrow, I would be A-O to
Mm.
the K. Like I
Okay.
feel like I have done a lot. I feel like I've put in a lot, and I feel like I've done everything that I've ever wanted to do. Even though there's
Mm.
still things that I want to do in the future, I'm so okay with the fact that I went after everything that I wanted to do at up until this point. And that's all I can actually ask out of myself and out of this lifetime. And so, I mean, I put in a lot of different things. I feel like I left the world better than what I came into it as. So I feel like, my life has already served its purpose because I'm continuously walking in my purpose every day. So if I were to go, I'm good.
Hey, you got me inspired over here. Shit. Um,
Yeah.
that's beautiful though. I think that so often, I think especially in the social media age, and because we have access to so much at one any given time, sometimes we lose sight of just how much we've been able to do because it's all about, oh, what are you doing now? What's in the now? But it's
Right.
like when you really look back at that entire journey of things you've accomplished, because without even knowing much about like you growing up, like I know that the person that you dreamed you could become, you've already surpassed them. Like you probably made younger Jada so proud years ago, let alone today.
Yes, yes,
That's
yes.
and that's
No,
that's a beautiful
seriously.
thing.
Yeah, thank you so much. Because yeah, being a young adult, like even just the ups and downs, like I know, like I'm excited, not even really excited about the down times, more or less like I'm peaceful and I don't worry when I'm in like a downtime because that only means that an up is coming. And I just had to realize that like life is hills and valleys, hills and valleys. And so it's gonna go like this. So if you're on a valley, just know that the hill is coming next. You can't go from valley to valley. You're in the valley. So you just know that. And yeah, just like appreciate the down times because really they make the good times what they are. Like we
Make
wouldn't
it
know
even
good
better.
times as good times if we didn't have downtime. So appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm already getting inspired over here. I think that it's obvious that you're a good budget coach because you have that empathetic quality, you have that coaching quality to you. And I think that somewhere else that shows up is in podcasting. You have your podcast mic. That's one first thing I was like, oh, you plugging in a mic, you're a professional. So I know that in doing my research for this interview, you had worked on a podcast. I think the last episode probably was like sometime last year, but you just told me that you're bringing back the podcast. So talk to us a little bit about like the thought behind the podcast, what it was and where you want it to go.
Yeah, so honestly, where it was and where I wanted to go is kind of on the same spectrum. It's really just uncovering my life and being able to be vulnerable with the things that I've been experiencing, to really just help other people in my same shoes. So sharing my experiences as being an independent young Black woman in America, really just navigating adulting life, love, so just all of those different things and kind of just giving tips and tricks on how I make my life easier and how I make my adult life a little bit easier to manage. And I really just wanted to use it as an outlet for myself. I really do like talking. I like podcasting. I like listening to podcasts. So it's really just honestly not even about the numbers at this point. It's about being able to express myself. I usually like to journal, and I think journaling is great. I'm doing it because I want to one day give them to my daughter, and so she can learn that
Mm.
one, I'm not perfect, and two, like this is what I was going through when you were this age. So I think that it's another form of documenting my life, and I think that podcasting would be a great, great, great way to do that. It doesn't take as much time. My hands don't cramp when I'm journaling. And I also don't have to, house all the journals. So I think podcasting would be like a tremendous switch from journaling to that as another outlet for me as well.
It's very interesting. I wonder if there's like a journal to podcasting pipeline. Cause I mean, I don't know if you know, but I like have poetry books and now I'm in the podcast realm. And I feel like the people who knew younger me, they're surprised I do a podcast. And the people that I know now, they're like, oh, you do podcasts. That's cool. And they're surprised I'm a poet. And it's like, yeah, like, I don't know. I just went from writing and now I'm just on the mic. And I just love, like you said, like podcasting is kind of like a time capsule of this moment. Like, your
Right.
future family is going to be able to look back at this episode and see like, dang, like mom came all the way up here from where she was already up on November 13th, 2022. Like it's a beautiful thing. It's for sure beautiful. What is the name of the podcast?
So before it was called Boss It Up, but now it's called Adulting in Action. And Adulting in Action is just a very fitting name because I wanted to, and it's also, it has space to grow because I'm always, now going to be an adult. So Adulting in Action, you just get to see my life in action, play by play of like my emotions and how I'm feeling. And, you get to go on the journey of life and love with me, especially also with my money. So I'm being very vulnerable on this podcast and I'm really excited to drop it. And it will be coming in January, in case you were wondering. So, yes, definitely, definitely excited because I haven't recorded an episode in a year. So, I'm excited.
That's awesome. I can't wait to tap in. So January 2023, Adulting in Action coming to the airwaves near you. And while we're on the subject of podcasts, the fans have to know, are we going to get you on an episode of Natural Nonsense podcast too?
What? Of course, sure. Let's do it. I'm open, okay? I'm here. Yes. Like any opportunities, I would love to because I know my audience would love that as well. So
Hey, say less. We're gonna get that in the works too. I think that's part of the reason why I wanted to do the Banquet Hall podcast was to just like show just how interconnected we all can be and that we
right.
all already are. I feel like I was talking about this on episode 2, which hasn't aired yet, but I just got so tired over the last few weeks of hearing about like Kanye West, hearing about Kyrie Irving. And it's like I know people doing way cooler stuff that need their voice out there. So I was like, let me hit up the homies and we gonna hop on a mic and we gonna talk about what they doing because you're so much cooler to me than Kanye West or Kyrie Irving. Like Jada Day is so much cooler to me than Kyrie
Yes.
and Kanye. Like y'all are doing cooler stuff. Y'all have better opinions and people can trust
Oh,
y'all. So just
thank
shout out
you.
to y'all. We giving flowers on this podcast.
Yes, I'm giving flowers to Jada Day because love that girl. That's my business bestie right there. Love her. Love her.
We love the business besties. Maybe next time we have both of y'all on at the same time, we could just have like businesswoman
Yes.
power hour. I'm gonna write that. I'm gonna write that one down.
Write that down.
The
That
the
sounds like a great
Jada's
idea.
the Jada's episode.
Because honestly, like her and I grew our businesses like basically at the same time. So,
Yeah, and
and yeah,
I think that's why I had y'all too as some of the first guests because I just remember that moment in time. Like I wasn't working at the BRC at that time, but it was like, oh yeah, our interns are doing this, and all of a sudden, like y'all just business people now, y'all all big and whatnot. I'm like, hey, let me get the interview before they get too big to hop on a podcast with your boy.
oh, stop. Thank you. No, yes. Shout out to the BRC, like for real. Like honestly, because that was where a lot of my start became like what it is. Honestly, like I took the job. Well, I applied for the
Yeah.
internship, I would say, because I wanted to get out of my shell. I really had like a fear of speaking, and that was the first time I had ever introduced myself that much. I mean, oh my goodness, there were so many times I had to stand up in front of a crowd and say, "Hi, my name is Jada. I'm a student success intern." Like, I would just have to say that so often, and it just got me so much more comfortable in my skin, in my opinions, because we're in a group setting, having to share
Mm-hmm.
opinions. So it really just taught me a lot about standing up for myself, about what it is that I like to do, and knowing how to disagree with other people, knowing how to
Mm.
respect other people that you disagree with, and just
Yes.
knowing how to respect people in general. So I just really shout out to BRC because they gave me the push that I needed, and the platform that I needed as well. I'm telling you that first money, what was it? What was it called? Money Smarts 101. And it
Mm-hmm.
had like those little dollar signs on the flyer. Oh my goodness. I printed out like a budget sheet and I made a presentation. Way more people than I thought came. Like I was not expecting that many people, and they came out, and I was helping everybody going around. It was a workshop, and it was just beautiful, and they loved it so much. And that's when COVID hit, and then I said,
Mm-hmm.
you know what? Let me make a planner. I'm like, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
able to do this. I can't do it again, and I want to be in person with them, and I want them to be able to do something outside of the workshops. So I decided to build a planner, and that's how Green Line Planner started. But I kind of was thinking to myself, like, okay, I know how we are. We'll buy something, we'll do something for like a month, maybe a month if we're lucky for
Hey, call
us,
them
like
out.
a
Call them
week.
out.
And then we'll put it down. And so I'm like, no, I need to get in there. I need to actually start coaching, and I want to meet with them one-on-one, and I want to help them transform their mindset because it's really about your mindset, really. So that's what inspired me to become a coach. And so that's in November because my business started July 2020.
Okay.
But then November 2020 is when um I became a coach, and I started coaching people one on one, and then ever since then it's been a wild ride. And now I'm actually putting out those new planners. So sorry if you were about to get to that, but I was just super excited about the planners.
Oh no! Hey, this is your podcast episode. Let's talk about it. So, one of the episodes, or one of the questions I was going to ask is what's coming next for you. So, it sounds like new planners are on the way. Want to talk a little bit about them?
Yes. I am expanding. Well, I'm really kind of trying to go further in my 9 to 5 kind of professional career. So in addition to that, I wanted to really just kind of come out with a budget planner so that I could still help my clients, but just not have to give so much of my time.
Mm.
So expanding as a business owner, you definitely have to think of ways that you can help your clients because there's only one you, and
Yep.
so so dropping. Actually, if this is releasing on what you say, the 20th or something like that?
21st, yeah.
Okay, on the 21st, if you're hearing it today, y'all, Black Friday, the planners are dropping. So, and pre-order is actually available now. But the planners are called My Money, My Rules, and they're like super cool because they have my coaching in it. I actually have my techniques, my tips, my skills, and I put all of my like my resources inside one planner. And I know it's pretty hard to see with the glare, but actually wait.
No, I can see it, yeah.
Okay, you can kind of see it.
Yeah.
But it has everything in a centralized location. So it has a fixed expense calendar, it has goal setting, it has places for you to plan out your investments. You have top 10 tips, 4 full pages of my money philosophy. So it is like having Jada in your pocket. And you can have a conversation with me through the planner. There's a money assessment to see your growth between the first time that you use it and the last paycheck. It's split up by paychecks. So no matter if you get paid monthly, bi-weekly, weekly, this is going to be able to fit your lifestyle. And it will last you for 3 months if you're getting paid weekly. So it's a really, really, really great investment. And you don't have to think. It tells you what to do. If you don't know where to start, this is great for beginners. This is great for people who are a little bit more advanced because it really ranges. It has that range and it has the space for you to put your life into it, basically. And it's a really, really cool planner. Like I use it for my budgeting. So I mean, I really want to show y'all the inside of it too, but I don't know. For some reason, there's this glare.
Let's try it out.
Let's see. I'm gonna show y'all paycheck number one because the lines are so clear. Like if you don't like spreadsheets, I promise, like the clean lines will
Okay.
do it for you. So it's like paycheck number one. You have your savings first, and then you get to plan out all your bills. So you're supposed to be referencing your expense calendar to know which bills fall under that paycheck. Pay those bills first, y'all. Get the hard part out the way. We don't like spending money on bills. We know that. Get it out the way. Pay those first. And then you get to plan for your funds. So you get to plan for your investments, and then you get to really you get to plan out how much you have left over so that you can
Okay.
plan for your fun because planned fun is even more fun, y'all. Like, go figure. I'm trying to tell y'all. Like, honestly. And then that's where you get to plan out the rest of your fun. And we also have self-reflective questions so that you can dive deeper into your relationship with money. And it really uncovers a lot of the limiting beliefs that we have. And then you also have reminders with each paycheck as well. And I'll read this one off just so you can kind of get a sense of what I'm talking about. It says, don't let money define who you are. Your financial state changes every day, but you have to stay consistent with how you show up no matter what's in your bank account. So just little reminders like that to keep our money mindset in check. And it's actually just a super, super, super cool tool, y'all. So Black Friday, it will be dropping www.greenlineplanner.com.
A+. Who's your PR person? Because you nailed that. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. And I designed the planners too. Like y'all, I do websites. I do a lot of like digital stuff. So I have done websites for other people too, but this is really like my baby right here. I've been working on this for 6 months now. I put a lot of time and energy and effort into it. So I'm just super excited to drop them. The pre-orders are already out. We already got some orders in. So I'm really excited for this launch, y'all.
Let me go ahead and open the website to pre-order once we done recording.
Oh,
Um,
thank you.
yeah, of course. I can't have you on a podcast and not support what we talking about. Sorry, I got that put up for later. But let's go back a little bit. You mentioned your website where people can pre-order. What about social media? Where can people find Greenline Planner on socials?
Yes. So on Instagram, it's at Green Line Planner, and it's green like the color green, line like a number line, and planner like a budget planner. And it will, yeah, no spaces, no dots, no underscores. And then I am on TikTok, and then that one has underscores. So it's green underscore line underscore planner. And you can find me on there and follow your girl. And that's really like the best way too, is just word of mouth, sharing my things on your stories because this is so much bigger than me. It's so much bigger than you. Like financial literacy equals financial freedom equals free us and a lot more opportunities. So definitely pass this along because it is, yeah, it's way more important than you think.
Beautiful. Now, kind of wrapping things up here, a few, not necessarily rapid fire questions, but a few quick questions to close us out. The first one is, I know as someone who is so empathetic and cares so much about people, and you're coaching people on something with their finances, I know sometimes you can have like hardships you're dealing with, or I need to figure out how you're taking care of yourself while you're trying to help other people take care of themselves. So how do you navigate those times where you're feeling like down on yourself or losing that motivation to keep doing what you're doing?
Honestly, I journal. That is the biggest thing. And I also talk to my brother and my dad. Those two are my rocks. I absolutely love them. And my best friend, but those two really, really, really hear a lot of the the rants and the tears. But I really try to journal. I like to take baths a lot, so I will journal, take baths, and honestly binge watch a show, y'all. It is a-okay to sit in your bed and binge watch a couple episodes of a
Hmm.
show. Okay.
What
Yeah, and
shows your go-to for binge watching?
anything HGTV. I love interior
Okay.
design. Right now I'm watching the new season. Actually, I think I finished it. Anyways, the new season of AHS. The yeah, the biker one. Not
Hmm.
biker. That is not a biker. Anyways, the leather person. I don't know the name of that one, but yeah, it's it's fun.
I think I cut you off. You were about to say something else with regards to self-care, though, when you're talking about journaling.
Oh, yes, and I take myself to brunch, y'all, like,
We love a good
OMG.
brunch.
Every Sunday I didn't get to do it this Sunday, but it's okay. But every Sunday I go to brunch. I take myself to this little cafe that I found, and I go and I take my book and I read, and the people, they know me there, so it's actually a really, really fun time. I get a mimosa, so I get a little lit, and then I walk back to the car. I float back to the car, should I say, off and then I drive home, which, it's safe, kinda, and and we're good. And then I get back home and I enjoy myself and I enjoy my time. I sit on my balcony a lot and just really thank God. That is the main one, is God. I will say, yes, just really praising God, always in communication with him. He keeps me sane.
In case the feds are listening, what Jada meant to say was that she floats to the Uber and then
Mhm.
Uber's home. That's what y'all heard. I don't know if there was something weird with the audio there when you had
Yeah,
first
it
mentioned
was.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah. So
glitched out a
the,
little bit. It
the
might be the
Uber,
mic or something. Yeah, the Uber.
the Uber,
Uh,
right.
hey, I'm just trying to protect you out here. Uh,
Good looks.
Nah, it is all good. So you mentioned like some people in your family, but is there anybody else who inspires you to keep doing what you're doing? Maybe even outside of family. You mentioned God, but is there like any people you look up to, any people who motivate you to do what you do?
Yes, I have some people on Instagram that I've always just like looked up to. One is Erin on Demand. That girl, love her work ethic. I've been following her story since she first started, so I love just seeing where she's gone. She's well over $1 million now, and I just like absolutely love her journey in her business. She is a business coach for branding. So her story is just absolutely gorgeous. This other girl, her name is Ricky Lee. I don't really know. I know it's like Rikki or something like that.
Hmm.
And she is really good too. She's about branding and marketing. And she's younger than me actually, and she's so just like on top of her things. And I just really like her aesthetic. Her and Aaron on it, man. I love their aesthetics. And then there's also this one lady. She is actually overseas in the UK, I want to say, and Lay Malade or something like that. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to get the ats for you. But Lay Malade, I'm so sorry if I'm butchering your at name. But I love her videos. She is pushing for 1 million. She has a couple rental properties. She's just doing her thing as a young adult. So those are the women that I really look up to on the internet. And in terms of like in person, I would say my grandmothers. I look up to them a lot. One grandmother I look up to for her spiritual strength, and then my other grandmother I look up to her for just how she loves, and she's such a giver. So I definitely look up to both of those women as well.
Awesome. And then last question, just any words of advice that you have for anyone listening to this, but more specifically, what I would like to hear is like if there's a young Black girl listening to this podcast and they're trying to become their own businesswoman, what words of advice would you give for them?
I would say go for it. Life is life. It's going to always happen. So don't wait for the right time. The right time is now. If you have something, nurture it and treat it like a baby and stay consistent. Consistency is key. Like this was scary for me to jump into. I had to define myself as a budget coach before anybody else defined me as a budget coach. And so having that confidence in yourself is something that you should also work on, and just stay consistent. Like even when you feel like nobody's watching, nobody's listening, they are, and
Mm-hmm.
they will come out the woodworks one good day and say thank you so much for your content, please keep doing it, and that will push you even further into what you're doing. So definitely I say just take the leap of faith, trust your gut. If it's something that you're passionate about, go after it. Don't rush it. Take your time, and I would say do it the right way, and find mentors, please, because I invested a lot of money into a business coach, and she helped me get to where I am now and have the mentality about business that I do have. So yeah, don't be afraid to invest in yourself in other ways other than college, because there's seminars, there's coaches, there's mentors,
Mm-hmm.
there's so many different memberships that you can be a part of. So just yeah, look out there for the help that you want about any topic or any business that you want to start. Find a mentor, do it right, and have fun.
It's a wonderful way to end the episode. Any last words or anything that we didn't cover that you want to make sure that folks hear from you?
No, I love everybody. I want to make sure that everyone understands that financial literacy is such a huge deal. It's way deeper than simply calculating numbers. Really check in on your finances, check in on yourself, because it's like any other relationship that you have in your life. You need to spend time with your money in order to know it so that you can have it do what you want it to do. So definitely, yeah, check in and dig a little deeper. Question why you want certain things, question why you have certain habits. And if you need a little extra help, I do have the one-on-one coaching. I do payment plans. So if you come to me and say, I don't know about that payment, we can do payment plans. So don't stress. And also don't forget Black Friday, the budget planners are coming out, because this will help you so much if you actually don't have that investment to make at the time. So really, really great and free. You can spread my name, because Jada is always known as the budget girl or the finance girl in college. So let's keep that going. And yeah, just pass the word.
Yeah, word of mouth is very important. I think that too often when people think that, I think too often people think they can only support folks by buying something or spending money, but just sharing posts, sharing this podcast so people can learn more about Jada, telling someone else to pre-order the planner. Like, I think that's really important whenever you encounter somebody like, man, I'm really struggling budgeting. Now y'all all know somebody who can help somebody with budgeting.
That part. And this can be a Christmas gift. Okay. So
Okay.
if you want it to be a Christmas gift, I actually do have like a spot in the front where I make it out to somebody. So there's an option on the website to put the person that you're gifting the planner to put their name. So yeah, that's really special too.
Well, family members, if y'all listen to this, y'all about to get some
Y'all about to
y'all
get
about
some
to get some
planners.
green line planners for Christmas. And in the
That's
in the planner,
funny.
I'm gonna put a QR code to this episode. Like, just make sure you listen to it so y'all can get to know
That
her.
part.
Then you gonna figure
That
it out.
part. And it's perfect for the new year too. People like to get their money in order before the new year. So perfect.
Yeah. And then the new podcast will be out in January too, so they'll have another way to support you. Yeah, it's perfect
That's
timing for
right.
all of this. I love it.
Yes, it is. Love the rollout. And thank you so much for having me on here. Like you are a blessing. Thank you so much. And for even holding this space, you are like amazing for this. So I want to give you your flowers as well.
I appreciate it. And it's a pleasure to be here and just to get to know you more as well. Cause I mean, we interacted on a high and by basis throughout, like when you was working at the BRC. So it's good to have like a dedicated hour just to chop it up and get to know you better. Just to reiterate, make sure y'all follow Greenline Planner on IG at Greenline Planner, on TikTok at green_line_planner, correct? Got
Yes.
that right? And
Yes.
then go on to their website, greenlineplanner.com. Y'all can pre-order your planner like I'm about to do as soon as this episode is over. And yeah, Jada, just thank you once again for making the time. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your Sunday. And for our listeners, make sure y'all like, subscribe, share the episode, and let Jada know that y'all out there supporting her. Y'all have a good one.
Thanks. Bye, y'all.